Hi everyone, welcome to a new series from Summer Nights by Hanna Karlzon. Now this picture that is in here that I'm going to be doing, the sort of pocket watch, is also in her Grains of Gold, which is a compilation book. So if you have that one, you should be able to find it in there, I hope. I am going to be using my Harmonious pencils. This is the Castle Arts set. I've got a swatch chart here which I shall be using. Not to worry if you don't have them though, because I have done a number of comparison charts on my Ko-fi shop with Prisma, Polly's, Stedler, Derwent maybe, I can't quite remember, but I'll put links in the description. So if you don't have these, you can follow along. Now to get these rather muted colours, these sort of shades here and here, I've had to normally combine two colours together. So you don't have to do that. If it's a little bit too complex, you can just pick a bright blue, a greenish blue, you know, a purple, whatever. You should be able to do it. But any problems, let me know. I might be able to help you. Maybe. Right, so let's have a look and make a start. Put a couple of pieces of paper behind to protect the page. Now, where should we actually start? Well, the watch to me is quite complex. Look at all these little tiny bits and pieces. And what I'm thinking is I would normally do this gold. We don't have any warm colours apart from the wheatgrass. We have a light dark browns and then one wheatgrass. We can't do that, so we're going to have to go with silvers. So we're going to make it a sort of silvery colour. So that's where I'm going to start, I think. Ooh, let's just move that. So I want a fairly darkish colour. I'm going to start with the pewter. Got to find it first. Is it there? No. Bear with me. Sorry, I don't know the set so well because I haven't used them very much. I should use my swatch chart to work out whereabouts they are. Somewhere here. Looks like that's it. That's the is it there? Olive grey, ash, pebble, pewter. Oh, it's this one. There it is. So we have the pewter, and I'm going to come in closer to the sort of watch face, which is where we're going to start. Might change the colour a bit of the page. There we go. Now, if you want to give the impression of shine and metallicness, good word, on a circle item, I have found a way of doing this, and I'm really hoping I can pull it off. Now, firstly, I'm going to decide where's my darkest bit going to be, and I'm going to draw a line diagonally through my item like that. Okay, so that's going to be my darkest bit. Therefore, this opposite bit, that's going to be a really light bit. Now, I haven't done it very dark. I'm just having a little think. I think what I'm going to do is colour over the numbers and the hands, and then I'm going to go over them in something a bit darker to make them stand out at the end. So let's start layering this up a little bit. And what we want to do is layer it up and then start to fade it in across. But do it slowly. Now, thinking about the fact that this is going to be like a V shape because we're going into the middle, so a little bit different, but it's okay. And it's so much easier if we're just colouring over everything. I'm just going to layer up a little bit more. I might sharpen this in a minute. Sometimes it's easier to have a slightly blunter pencil if you're covering a larger area, but then when you get to the edge, you need a bit of a sharpening. Now, I haven't found any particular sharpener works better or worse with the Harmonious. I just use my normal Stedler Norris, very worn. You can't even see it. And I've even experimented with pen on there. It's great. Stedler Norris, a triangular sharpener. They're surprisingly expensive, but very good. But I haven't tried massive amounts of sharpeners, but I like the barrel one because it collects all the bits, which is nice and helpful. So I'm going to sort of leave that there for now. We faded it down quite a bit. She says not leaving it and doing a bit more, you know, in my helpful way. There we are. And we're going to do the same on our diagonally opposite. I'm just checking. If you want, you could use a ruler, which I'm going to do. I'm going to actually use a bookmark because that's obviously a ruler. I'm just checking myself. It is fine. I was just doubting myself then. But yeah, you could draw your line with a ruler. Do it faintly to start with because you don't want a thick indented line on your book, but you do want it to look fairly good. And also, whenever you're drawing a line on your colouring book for any reason, use a coloured pencil, like graphite pencil. I don't know, it doesn't work right. I tend to, like, if I'm drawing on a colouring book, you know, if I've traced something and I'm sort of tracing over it or whatever, I always use a grey pencil, coloured pencil, rather than graphite. I just think it somehow works better. Maybe it's just me. Right, so we're spreading our pewter around the face of our pocket watch, sorry, like this. Now, it could be better to go a little bit darker. Now, we don't have a darker grey really, or we have the storm grey, but it's a little bit greeny almost. Maybe not. So anyway, we'll try it with this and see if it works. So I want a lighter grey now. I'm going to go down to the pebble colour. Here we go. My desk is going squeak, squeak, squeak. It's fine. And I'm going to go over what I've done. And it will just sort of burnish it a bit and darken it a little bit. And then extend it a bit. Going out towards here. Now we need to think about where it's going to be white because we want to leave a little bit of white shine. I'm going to come round from this side, so I might be shading it. It's a little bit awkward doing it this way. You might need to turn your book. I should. But. Now this grey looks a little bit bluish, which I think always is good for silver. That's what you're trying to achieve. The only thing is the paper isn't white, but I don't have a white pencil. I have the Cornforth white, but it's pink, so I don't have a white pencil. I could grab one from another set. I've got a white Prismacolor actually, but I think I'm just going to leave it. Keep it simple. I like that it says dream on our pocket watch. I love pocket watches. I think they're so lovely. Like also like those nurses' watches. I don't know if you know what I mean. Where you, my cousin used to have one because she didn't. As a nurse, she didn't use a proper watch, wristwatch, because I think it catches on things. She'd have one on her, pinned on her uniform, that was upside down, so she could turn it up and look at the time. It's fabulous. And they would use them when they were taking, I'm just going over this a little bit more, when they were doing pulse rate, so they could look at the watch to count the 60 seconds or however long they were doing it for. I just thought they were so cool. But I guess they probably don't do that anymore. They probably use a pulse monitor. They pin it to your finger. They don't need one. But those watches are probably a bit old-fashioned. But anyway, lovely memories of my cousin who's no longer with us. But yeah, shared. Always think about the happy times. Right. There, I think that looks quite shiny, but we need to think about the name, the numbers, the hands and blah. Now the very centre bit here, I think, no, I'm going to use the pebble, she changes her mind, on this bit, okay, quite solid, like that. And then, let's just move my pencils around a bit. I'm going to use the Storm Grey, which I said I thought it looked a bit green. You can see it looks a bit green on the barrel. I'm not sure how green it looks on the swatch. It's there. I think it's okay. And I'm going to use it for the numbers and the wording and everything. And I'm going to sharpen it quite sharp because it's quite intricate. A bit more. There we go. So the hands, and they'll stand out then. I mean, you could do them a different colour, of course. I can do that bit. But I think because we're colouring over grey, I sort of thought that grey would make sense. And we're going to do some jewels and things around the edge, so that I'm hoping that will stand out more than the face. But we'll see how it looks. Also means if I decide I want to add a few more layers of grey, which I don't think I will, but I've only got grey there to cover over, so it'd be fine. Now these pointy bits, I feel like these should be coloured in too. So I'm going to do those in a minute. Yeah, I've just been busy sorting out my bathroom work. The items had to pay for all the items that we need, you know, shower tray, wall coverings, and all the boring gubbins like the I think floorboards we need new, and wall boards and all sorts of stuff. So sorting all that out, all those payments, and then sorting out when they're coming, and then thinking, oh my, I've got so much to do before they arrive. I've got to empty the airing cupboard, which is behind our shower. There, I rather like that, she says modestly. Right, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the background around here, but what I'm going to do is do some of these little circles around here. I think look like gemstones. So here I am looking at my chart, and I'm thinking either we've basically got green, reddish, well, plum and purple, and only one blue. I think I'm going to ignore the blue. I haven't got much choice. So I might go really bright and go for that beetroot colour. It's weird because when I first swatched these, I thought I'm never going to use that beetroot. I use it loads. So I'm going to swatch the beetroot. I mean, not swatch, what am I talking about? Use the beetroot for these. And then we're going to do sort of gemstones on the watch in these sorts of shades, the sort of plummy, pinky shades. And then with the florals, we'll probably do those in the purples, so they're a little bit different. So let's see. So beetroot next. I'm going to do each of these, they're really small. So I'm actually just going to basically block them in. And because I've just checked on my swatch card, and I know, like, if you see here, I put a little blob of white on each one, and I know here, look, the beetroot doesn't really bleed into the white. Okay, so I can use a bit of white pen to make it look shiny once I'm done, rather than having to try and leave a tiny white gap, which is difficult. So we're just going to go around here, filling in all our little circles, nice and easy. Yeah, so as the bathroom work is starting, it means that we still got compilation videos and things like that going on, because I'm not going to have time to do tons and tons of recording, but it's fine. I will catch up eventually and it'll be good, but just trying to you know, get everything done. I've got a few more ideas for compilation videos I can make, which I might do while the workmen are here, to put up just after, so that I can sort of catch up without feeling panicked. I don't like feeling panicked with my videos, and I'm usually keep well ahead, so there's never any need for that. But when I have a little thing like this, you know, like broken camera and then bathroom work, it's like, ah! So a bit tricky, but it's getting there. And if the compilation videos aren't needed, I can use them at any time. I can just keep them in on the back burner, shall we say. But I suspect I'll need some just to keep me going through. But that's all fine. So working my way around, and then thinking about what else might be jewelled on this pocket watch. It's very ornate, isn't it? We've got all the beads on the chain here, which also will need to be done at some point. But I'm just going to concentrate on this face, because for me this is the most daunting part. The flowers and the chain, it look easy to me, but this sort of ornate pattern around here, I haven't really planned what I'm doing. So what I tend to do is do the bit first that I'm scared of, and then I don't feel so worried about it after. So, and then I can just enjoy it and relax and enjoy the rest. Now we've got this bit and these bits, this bit and these bits. I'm thinking we'll do these as jewels as well. I'm not sure whether to keep with the same colour. I think it might be nice to have it all the same. I think I am going to keep with the beetroot on all of them. I just feel like it will look nice to have it the same. So I'm just picking out the areas that I think look like they could be jewels or gemstones, you know, whatever. Oh, these pencils are a bit stinky. I don't know if you found this. I find they aren't not as bad as Black Widows, but some pencils, I think it's because I was sent them when they were really new, and I wonder if because they haven't been, maybe they were put in the tin really quick or something, so the paint didn't air. But usually the smell goes away quite quickly, although with Black Widows, is when I open the tin I get a whiff. But the smell is continuous still. I should really leave them open somewhere to air, but I don't know where, because I don't want to at night I always shut all the doors, and I don't want like the then I'll open the door in the morning and it'll stink like pencils. Most pencils smell nice. I haven't used these loads, of course, as well, so that might be why. But I do find that budget pencils can tend to smell. It's very weird. But I don't know what it is, whether there's a coating on the barrel or whether it's just the paint on the barrel or what it is. But they all have it. Even, you know, the expensive brands have that too, but they don't seem to have such a stink. The great stink. I mean, the boys were talking about that the other day. Because we've had the Olympics and they've been talking about the pollution in the river, which was sort of disrupting the triathlon. We talked about the great stink because in London, if you may or may not be aware, even if you're British, at one point there was the River Thames goes right by Parliament, and the sewage used to just get pumped straight into the river, as it does these days. Sewage does overflow into rivers, but only when the storm drains get really full. And so it got so bad in London that there was an outcry by all the MPs, and they had it was, my son tells me it's Babbage who put all the sewers in London underground to prevent, because the sewage just went straight into the river. There was no cleaning up areas, so I assume that the sewage pipes just went off to some other river miles away from London, so it didn't upset the MPs. That's what I'm assuming. But of course we have treatment works now, but they just can't cope with the amount of water and rain, etc. Luckily in our town we've just had some new larger pipes put into some areas, but I still noticed we had a spill at the end of our road the other day, but that may have just been a blockage, you know, a household blockage, rather than a, I think I'm going to do these as well, rather than a problem with the pipes. I guess if there's a blockage it's a problem with the pipes, but anyway, yeah. But there we go. It's not very nice, and a lot of people, it's suddenly become fashionable here to do what you call wild swimming, where people swim in rivers, and the rivers are full of pollution, I don't know why you would ever do it. It's just vile. We have an outdoor pool here in our town and an indoor pool. The outdoor pool is only open in the summer. But you could go and, I guess you have to pay to swim. I don't know if you're a member of the leisure centre, whether it's cheaper, whether you get part of your membership. I have no idea. I only used to go there and play badminton weekly, but I had a membership. You had to, that's right, you had to be a member to book a court. I don't think it was any cheaper. Anyway, but apparently it's very invigorating. I've spoken to someone who does it. You can't really swim in the river by us because it's so shallow, but you sort of immerse yourself in the freezing cold, polluted, diseased water. Have you guessed that I'm not keen on the whole idea? I think if you had a lovely clean sea or a lovely clean lake or something, I would be slightly more attracted to the whole idea. But right, now let's have a look at this. What I'm thinking here is that this bit in here looks like it might be solid, like metal, and then this bit is just a sort of maybe a thin ornate bit, like welded on, although this has to be attached. How should we do it? Right, I've got an idea. So I'm going to grab the pewter. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to start here where it's dark. We're just going to do this little bit in here. So where I did this bit dark, we're going to do this bit dark here. Okay, and we're going to follow the pattern, so it's going to be really dark here and then get lighter and fade. Now I realise we haven't done that with the gemstones. They're all the same colour, but I'm happy with that. That sits right with me because I'm thinking they're a different thing. They're not metallic, so they might not look exactly the same. So now we're fading down to almost nothing here. Okay, and then we'll go this way. And fade it down too. See, is that attached to that and behind there? Don't know. One bit at a time, I think, is the best approach here. Oh, I should have faded that right off there. So now we're going to start here and fade it up to there. I find it easier with the red already in place because I can slightly colour over it if I need to. It's not going to show up because it's such a bright colour compared to this, especially as I fade it to here. There we go. And do it the other way. So I think it's okay. Now what I'm wondering is whether to fade that. There we go. What I'm wondering is whether to do a different colour in the background and then something lighter on the top. I think that's what I'm going to do. So if you see behind here and here we've got a bit. I'm going to colour those bits in now in the same way as I have this, and then this very top bit I'm going to do in my lighter silver. I think that's because I feel this needs to be solid because of this bit being attached to it. Okay. So this bit I'm just going to sharpen up a little bit. So we're still using our pewter. I'm going in here quite sharp. There we go, and then we can already start to fade. I'm just sort of following this So basically you do less layers as you come to the bit that's really light. I'm just going to leave that bit white down there. I'm going to come back around this way. I find it easy to do the dark bits first. Actually the other bits might be fairly straightforward. So start to reduce here. You can just put less. I'm going to start here. You can put less pressure on your pencil but also less layers. You can see I'm spending a lot more time filling in this section here than I would one here. Okay, so now this one's moving towards this faded area. You could do this in a lot more of a fancy way. I think this is going to work. Okay. It's going to be a really hot day today. Now that needs to be faded there. So that should be white there. I've done a bit too much here. I'm just going to erase it back a little bit because I think this here should be a little bit paler. There we go. So this bit should only have a little bit in really. Yeah, that's better. And here, we're going across here. Yeah, it's going to be warm. Started off quite cloudy. I aired the house out, opened it all up. Because I can't leave windows open while we're asleep very well because we do a little bit upstairs, but downstairs we're so far up with our so many stories in our sort of townhouse that that we end up, you know, we can't open downstairs windows really, so we end up quite closed up in the summer. There we go. I think that's about right. Okay, it's quite hard to see actually, but that's fine. I'm going to grab the pebble now. I'm just going to sharpen it. There we go. Pebble. And I'm going to do a similar thing. So with this round piece here, I'm going to follow this again. So dark here. And then less round to nothing. Same here, dark here, less round to nothing. Really simple with this, just this one line. Okay, and then we do the loops. I'm going to do them in the same way now. Where we have ones which have got nothing on, I'm not sure. We're just fading it as we go down to here. Got a little bit here, not much. That's the sort of whitest bit, so I'm going to leave that one. I'll come back this way. Okay. I don't know why I didn't colour that one in. Just going to get my pewter, that should have been coloured in. There we go. Around here, nearly all the way to here. There's our whitest bit, so we'll leave that and come back up here. If this is too complicated, or you could just block this in. There we go. Now we're going to do the same with these loopy bits on the outside. Again, I'm going to sharpen up. These are quite soft pencils actually. They don't hold their point for too long, but they blend nicely, so you can't have them both. So here again, we're going to fade these loops as we get to the sort of light area, like that one. Dark bit here, getting a bit lighter again. A little bit there, white on that one. A little bit here, getting darker, dark here. There we go. So there's our main watch completely done, apart from the fact that I want to add some shine on all the gemstones with a white pen. I'm not going to do that now. What we're going to do before we finish here is do this bit. Okay, so I'm going to start with my pewter. Here it is. Now this, I think, is quite simple. What I'm going to do is forget about this shine here and try and give it some shape with the pencil. So you'll see what I mean. So harder here and lighter towards the middle. And what that does is makes it look more rounded. And same here. Oh, hot flush. Whew. Now this bit is a little bit more tricky. Just having a think. I think what we need to do is put it darker around the outside. We'll do this one first. So I'm thinking same really, keep it simple. Just make it darker here and lighter here. And due to the shape of it, it wouldn't quite work like that, but I think we'll just do it. Actually, let's come in a little bit closer for you. There we go. So I'm going to bring this to a fine point on my sharpener if I can. And then go around the edge. Now, if you are thinking, I don't have these pencils, but I'd like to do this page, then for this, you know, at the moment we've only used 3 colours. So you could find yourself a dark grey, a slightly lighter grey, and some sort of reddy pink plummy colour, and you could easily just do a similar thing. It's fairly straightforward stuff, but as I say, we have the comparison charts if you want to make them really similar, but I think there we go. Now I'm going to sharpen the pebble and do a sort of bit inside that. I'll show you on a slightly thicker bit here. So I'm just going to bring it in towards the middle, but leave a little gap so that hopefully we can almost make it look like there's a little shine along the centre of the whole thing, which might make it look a little bit more rounded and shiny. There we go. But I also need to say that people who bought the Harmonious pencils early through my affiliate code may have got some money off. Unfortunately, that offer is no longer running. This is Beetroot by Castle. I've tried to remove it from all of my video descriptions, so unfortunately you no longer get a 20% discount on orders. I get commission, but you don't get anything. Right, how are we doing for time? I'm going to do this chain. It's going to be quite simple, I think. Let's come out so you can see it all, because you don't need to watch me. Now this first piece I'm going to do in the pewter. Now what all I'm going to do with this is make it darker at the end and then fade it towards the centre on both ends so that it might hopefully look like there's a bit of shine. But for all these little bits in between, I'm going to just block them in because they are too small. for me to be fiddling about with, so it's really simple. Just block them in, and then we're going to do, I think all these beads should be, I'm wondering actually, let's do them a slightly different colour just for interest's sake, not exactly the same as the ones on the watch, but matching. Okay, so I'll show you how I'm going to choose in a moment when I've just finished this. Layer it up a little bit. You can see I'm not just putting down one stroke of colour because I want it to be dark enough for us to be able to see. There we go. So if we have a look at the chart, so we've got the beetroot here. I'm thinking the plum is similar enough to work. Yeah. So I'm going to find that. There it is. Need to sharpen, and then work away. There he is, plum. And with these, I'm just going to try and make them look a little bit rounded by going all around the outside with quite a few layers, and then less as we go towards the centre, like that. Now, if you find that really hard, you can always get a bit of a darker colour and put that on the edge. Now, I've done it, I was doing it yesterday with something. Oh yeah, it was another Hanna picture I was doing, and my beads didn't quite look dark enough on the edges, so I actually put a little bit of black on there. I was using polychromos, so the colours aren't quite so intense, so I could put a little bit of black and it just made it look darker. It didn't make it look black or dirty. You have to be a bit careful with black though. It can end up making things look dirty, which is not a nice look. Now these pencils are quite soft, which is nice, but it means they leave lots of crumbs. You might be able to see them, and they also smudge, so you have to be a little bit careful. They don't smudge hugely. It's not like if I just rub my finger over now it would smudge. I'm not going to do it just in case I'm wrong. Yeah, you just need to take a little bit of care. I did find one page I thought it needed a background because it was a bit messy with all the sort of pencil smudges, but what you can do is just get a brush and wipe them off every so often, and then you don't end up smudging them all over the place, which is good. So that's just a makeup brush. Some people have really fancy brushes, which I'm very jealous of, but mine is absolutely good. Perfect for the job. It's got a nice large size head, and really soft, and it's good for brushing bits of pencil sharpenings off the desk and bits of pastel, things like that. It's great. Husband's always nicking it. I'm surprised he hasn't bought his own, to be honest, because he usually likes to have his own things. Gets jealous. It's funny. He's jealous of all my stuff. He has enough of his own. He's getting better though. He's not buying quite so much bits and bobs, but that's because he's cut his work hours, and I'm like, you know, you've cut your work hours, you can't keep spending like you have been. So he's cut back a little bit. So that's good. I need to check with my son. I was just thinking, he's been doing his, he said he was doing some Excel learning this morning, ready for his exam, but I need to check whether he needs to book his exam or not. And also when they have to choose their modules for next year, because I think they both get some optional ones, but I'm not entirely sure. It looked like it on the website, but I didn't know whether it was up to date because they might, you know, change things over the holidays and run different things. This colour, as you can see, is pretty similar to that. It's just not quite as vibrant, but I think that's fine. I think it's nice that it's just a little bit different, but you could use the same colour if you wanted. Now we've got left all our florals, which is going to be interesting because we have limited greens in this set, but I have found ways of making them work quite nicely. So you have to sort of combine them a little bit. I think I've shown you before. I think I've done a page before with these, but that's okay. We can do more. There we go. Now, I'm not going to do the white today, as I said already. So this is going to be it for today. We're going to... Oh, you can see all the mess on my desk. Swatch chart. There we are. You can see better now. So we've done the silver and the red. I'm not going to do a background on this page, by the way, because the silver is so subtle. If I start putting pastels around here, I think it will just interfere in there. I think it's better with a white, but we'll come back tomorrow. Well, I will, and do the florals. There's a few different styles of flowers there, so it should be fun. And yeah, so thank you for watching. Hope you have a lovely day and happy colouring.